What's up, everyone? My name is Wes, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. Back in late 2020, I talked with Yvonne and Zeke, the two core members of Juniper Douglas, an art collective that first came together in the Twin Cities. The duo spent much of the pandemic's first year creating songs live on Instagram in collaboration with their audience. Soon after, they launched Juniper Douglas TV, a place to showcase their own music videos and films alongside other artists in the community. We had a wide-ranging discussion about all their different creative ventures, their overall artistic vision, and the importance of art in general. Without further ado, here's my interview with Yvonne and Zeke of Juniper Douglas on the Ear Coffee Podcast. How are you two doing? What are the vibes tonight?
The vibes are good. I'm tired. I worked a long, hard day today. How about you, Zeke?
I'm also tired. So I'm working forever.
All right.
But that's just always the vibes of it.
Yeah, I think exhaustion is kind of just running through us at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get too into things, because we're going to kind of jump right into the history of the band, because y'all have been going for a hot second. Just introduce yourselves. Talk a little bit about kind of how you view your role in the ever-shifting sands of Juniper Douglas. Because you both kind of do like everything, so I'm very interested to hear how you kind of contextualize your roles in the project and maybe even how those have changed.
Oh my god. Okay, well, my name is Yvonne, and I am the director, lover, best friend, producer, dreamer, and performer sometimes, and tour manager, and and everything. I mean,
but like that's how DIY
That's
works.
how DIY works.
Just doing everything yourself. And I just do the music and try to help like new ideas like.
Oh, that's sweet.
Shit.
That's so sweet.
Cool. So I first came across the music of Juniper Douglas and kind of like your performances and everything that y'all were running with at the time, right around the kind of I don't want to say the end of the Era to Introspection era, but it was like right before you dropped that record that was 2018. Wow. I guess just kind of summarize as briefly as you want, because it's not really the focus of the conversation today, because we kind of missed that train, even though it should have happened. Just give a brief summary of kind of that era of the Juniper Douglas project, because the live performance and like the collaborations were a lot more widespread and intensive, instead of being as kind of, I guess now they're more centered around you two, and that's always been the case, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So just summarize kind of the Era to Introspection era, how you got into that, and I guess briefly talk about the album.
I don't even. What did it?
So, Era to Introspection was this big idea of collaboration. That was our debut record and our second live show that we have made. And when I say live show, I mean play.
Yeah.
Because I write plays, and then Zeke writes albums, and we do them at the same time. So Era to Introspection was a play about a band, because we were really attempting to focus on how to do plays in music spaces, and how to do them efficiently and effectively, and it seemed like the easiest way for us to do kind of our own study of that was to make a play about a band and see how we could take that places.
And like leading up to it, we try a lot of different weird performances to figure out if that was even possible.
Yeah, and so that was Era to Introspection, and with the music came a lot of work from all sorts of artists in the Minneapolis scene, and was just a really good learning experience for us.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a mind-bending introduction, I think, at least for me. And probably for a lot of people that kind of saw y'all on like 7th Street shows or like Moon Palace, I think were the two of the times we caught that era. But then pretty immediately, it feels like, even though it really was like almost like a year, there's the 3221, like the more like electronic 2-person show, and I saw that at the final Row House 1.0 show. Pour one out for Row House. That was such a dramatic shift just from having listened to the record and seen like the previous era. Where did that kind of really drastic shift towards like a totally different narrative, and like it was a completely different play, of course, and script, but talk a little bit how you handled that shift and where that inspiration kind of came from.
These are really good questions. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to talk about this. This is so, it's good to talk about the process. I appreciate it. So we were supposed to tour Arid Introspection for another month, but we were burnt out completely. And so we said, no more. This is the end. And we ended it, and then I sat at a coffee shop and I was like, we have to go on tour because all of these shows are booked and we have to do something. And I gave myself, and I think you did too, we were going through a lot of emotions because we just lived on a school bus for 6 months with a bunch of people and did a huge DIY tour, and we were going to like reconnect right away in the fall with all of those people who had helped us book the shows before and all the people who had came to see the shows. So we were emotionally exhausted and very tired, and us deciding that we're not going to take that show on tour again was, a lot for us to decide, I think. And I think that we were so exhausted. It was like a big decision to have to say that we needed to not do that show anymore.
That show was weird though, because we like workshopped it on tour.
Yeah.
But then so 3221 was born because I wrote a script, just like, we're going to see what happens, we're going to make this happen. And it wasn't completed by our first show. Or the one you saw, I think, wasn't even the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that this was like a workshop, and I had forgotten that like you'd made that pretty apparent before, like, I guess, segueing right into the performance. You're like, this is still something we're developing, and we're going to take it on tour after this. Bear with us. And then kind of, just did the show, or part of it, I suppose.
We just didn't have it. We just didn't have any of it. And so we got the last piece, and the ending ended up just being actually horrible. Like, it ended up being bad. And that's fine. I think that it was really cool still to be able to create something so quickly and to have the freedom to be able to tour it and show it to people and like still have people dig the vibes. I think, to go back to your original question about sort of what that shift was and your focus on talking about how the music was so different and the performance was so different, I think that's just how it's going to be. I think that's how this is going to roll. I think that in our lives we change, and we've always been into multi-genre as well. Musically.
Well, I mean, that's abundantly apparent from even just anyone that listens to Arid or Introspection. That's like a cocktail, like blizzard of genres and sounds.
Yeah. And so I think that as we progress, we're going to be able to have more focused shows and also more focused albums. But I think that, I'm not going to pave the path for myself. I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. But I maybe that's how it'll be. It'll probably be each show. I hope to tell like diverse stories. Like, I hope to tell a wide range of stories, and I hope to hear all sorts of sounds. Yeah.
I think just the time between Arid Introspection and that show was so big.
It was so small.
the music part, because
Oh,
the
right.
music writing part was like a year and a half apart from writing it actually.
From writing the show or like the
Music,
album.
the
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
So like big change.
Yeah. Following that, there was like the tour of 3221, where it was like workshop. There was the goodbye show in December for the Toms, kind of like the send off of that era. But then y'all have been moving around a ton since then. I think it was first to like South Carolina, and you've moved around even more since then. Where are you even at right now?
We're in North Carolina right now, and
Okay.
that's the only place we've been.
Okay.
You just been in North Carolina.
Yeah, we've been chilling here.
Weird. Okay, I don't know where I got. I think you mentioned like Denver and like Philadelphia somewhere else.
We
But
were
were those,
in
like-
Denver recently.
We were in
Just
Denver.
And we were also in Philadelphia recently. And
I'm not like Google stalking your GPS or something. I swear this is all like public
I know,
information.
No, take it.
No, yeah, we do it for fun. We make people.
Yeah, we like that's what we do on our Instagram. We play this really fun game called How Close Are You? And it's just we love to show people our exact location and ask them how close they are to us because we know so many people from the entire country.
East Coast.
the eastern part of the country.
Huh? That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're here too, is because we know so many people from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
North Carolina is a very centralized.
Yeah, if you were to take a drive from Baltimore to Louisville to Asheville to DC to Philly to New York to Atlanta to New Orleans to Texas, we're
Florida, I guess.
like North Carolina is exactly in the middle.
Like 6 hours all directions.
Wow.
So all the cities are like the same distance from Minneapolis to Chicago.
Yeah, but like
Which is,
instead
like-
of just Chicago, you have all those cities.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Like what else do we have? Like Des Moines? No one's
Yeah.
going to. No harm to Des Moines. But still.
But like it's like there's like no big cities. It's like Minneapolis is very much an island,
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
which is fine. It's just
Yeah.
like geographically an island, and
It's an island in its own state for a myriad of reasons, which are
Yeah.
yeah.
not relevant to this discussion.
Yeah.
But the last thing I wanted to ask about before we kind of jump into the website, which is the big endeavor that months ago Zeke and I first talked about, like doing an interview over, is the clothing brand, like the clothing line. That felt, I saw that and I was like, whoa, that's out of nowhere. That's really cool. But then like, I don't know, I haven't seen as much from it. Is that still something that like you're working on? Is it like, I guess, talk a little bit about why you even wanted to partner and launch a clothing line?
Yeah.
As-
So Junie's the brand, Junie's the fabric, Junie's the everything, and we're gonna have clothes. Most importantly, we're gonna start with creating regular merchandise for our live streams that we do, which is all tied into the website, and we can touch on that, and that will all be falling under the Junie brand. But also Junie is a platform for us to be able to represent all of our characters' costuming, and also
Okay.
private collections as well. So that is something that we have started. We're working with Wild and 3, Minneapolis local, who's now studying in Parsons College of New York. And so with the pandemic and everything, things are taking time, and
Yeah, because like I kind of started before the pandemic, and
Yeah.
then factories.
and all that jazz. It's slowing down, but nonetheless, it'll be able to host all of our sellable merch that we're doing for the next things that we're going to be talking about, and then also a really cool place to like showcase our costumes, because we're going to have really cool costumes for the next show.
Yeah,
So,
that specifically, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I grew up as a theater kid, but the idea of like even just having access to costuming for something, I like that. That's really cool.
I'm so glad. I'm excited. I hope it works out. I hope it's not just an idea. It's going to happen. It is happening right now. We're doing
Yeah.
it.
It's a work in progress. It's a long journey to make any of these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, to have like cut and sew clothes is kind of a lot.
Yeah. So in April, the Juniper Douglas website launched, and it's massive. It would take hours and hours for us to break down every single piece of like media, whether it's photography, video, like the demos for pretty much everything you have created, like Juniper Douglas or like you two have created all these things. Why why do that? That's a very big question, I know, but like I know like a lot of times people have really intensely organized like files and like their own work, but they don't like put that anywhere. They maybe drop it on a Bandcamp day or something. But this is like a fully fleshed out website that is like organized by era, and it's just constantly growing and changing. Where did that idea really first take root, and what led you to make it a reality instead of just kind of like maybe one day we'll have this immense website to archive all our creative stuff?
I think it came from the idea of just like connecting deeper with our audience. Like what was that band that like said that thing that one time? They're like,
I don't know.
it was so sweet, but they were like, I don't know any other group or whatever band that connects as much with their audience as Juniper Douglas.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's nice.
And I think it just like
yes, you did see.
it like kind of, I think it really plays into that because we really like just like connecting with people versus having fans, which
I don't like calling fans fans.
Yeah, it's not like fans.
That's a weird thing to think about.
Or like observers, or
Yeah.
They're just like people that
they just witness. They just witness
they're
it.
there, and like the deeper they can get involved with who it is, and like
vulnerability.
We're kind of just an open book at this point.
Yeah.
I think we started out like not an open book at all, and it's been like a long process of learning to accept just the internet.
Yeah. I am curious though, beyond just launching it and putting it all out there at once, a lot of the stuff dates back all the way to even like 2015, 2016, like really early stuff. Is the reason why, like, was this stuff saved kind of, and then you decided to put it online as a part of the website? Because like there's like documentaries about like the making of Arid Introspection and like little fun like I guess like tour documentary and stuff like that. Were you just like kind of sitting on that for almost like a rainy day until you kind of conceptualized the idea of the website and kind of found an outlet for it?
It's just like how we create. We make so much.
We don't stop.
Yeah.
We have so much things. We have, for this new record that we're making,
it's like 4 hours of stuff.
There's 4 hours of music. It's just because it's not it's not gonna be 4 hours of the record, but like it's probably gonna it's only like 30 minutes. It's gonna be a 30-minute record, maybe
25,
or like maybe even 25, and we have 4 hours of music. Documentation and your ideas is so
like the stuff that's on the site is not even half of what exists.
Yeah,
it's just the closest we could kind of start organizing it.
Yeah, without like even somehow like being more overwhelming. Like, hey, here's like 50 hours of demos and stuff that we aren't even finished with yet. Go to town. Right.
And this website is really like the first stage of it. Zeke has been working all day restructuring it, and it's in process. But like you gotta imagine that we were just sitting there, and then all of a sudden we puked really hard, and then like the website happened. Like we weren't thinking about it; it just like exploded into existence.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was just like, I love web design now, and it was like, I'm gonna make a website, and like it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
like shoving everything together.
But now we're doing like a redesign of it, and it might be more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
It will. It does. It's starting to look a lot better.
I think even since like last week, it's changed. Like, I think when I was like first like prepping for this like a week or so ago, and when I was like going over stuff today, I think it was already different. Is that, have you already
Yeah.
changed in the last like week or two?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not hallucinating. We're good.
Yeah, I know you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably by the time like that whole, was the website you were looking at, was it like white? Was that like more the,
I think it was still, it might have been a little bit brighter, but I think it was still kind of like darker palette where like they had like the
Yeah.
black backdrop.
We're
probably
changing.
probably by the time like this podcast or whatever comes out, we'll be we're doing like a whole revamp to do like Juniper Douglas like TV.
Oh,
Juniper Douglas like TV?
Juniper Douglas TV.
It's called Juniper Douglas TV.
Yeah.
Not Juniper Douglas like TV.
is that like a new thing, or is that like just a new way of kind of presenting like the videos you've been making for like the quarantine
it's new.
songs? It's totally new.
It's new. So it's the quarantine songs. I think it's so funny that you call it quarantine songs because
Or like the stuff,
we started doing it before quarantine. It's
or
so
like
funny.
I guess
but
like the
it
Made
worked
with
out.
You, like the Made with
Yeah,
You album,
yeah.
all those songs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. I think it's so funny because it actually ended up working really well that we were doing live streams because the pandemic hit. But what's the question?
Juniper Douglas
Juniper
TV.
Yeah,
Douglas
just
TV.
talk about that. What is that? What should people look out for that?
Yeah. So we're doing our Made with Yous, but instead of on Instagram, we're now doing them on Twitch and YouTube.
Ooh.
And we are making videos and we're making songs in an hour based off of the viewers' votes. But we were figuring out how to change locations because we've done so many of them and like being in the house is kind of limited, and we've like thought to make it, more interesting, more interactive. And then, this is another, Juniper Douglas TV is another thing that we just vomited, right? You gotta remember. Zeke was like, all right, live streams. And then Zeke started working really, really hard on live streams and figured out a way to like change camera perspectives, how to put in like commercials that we make if we wanted to, how to put in titles, timers, all this crazy stuff. And this town that we're in right now, it's called Winston-Salem, North Carolina. There's a lot of film students around here. There's an art school nearby. And we figured that it would only be within our nature to start stream TV, Juniper Douglas TV, and start premiering and hosting other people's work as well as our past videos, all while doing these episodes of Made with You live streams.
Okay.
So instead of them being like 30 minutes on Instagram, they're now going to be like 2 hours on Twitch and YouTube, and it's going to be like, and it is, we've been doing it. We did one for the first time last time, and it's like a whole event. It's like TV.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna start like featuring like people like making like Adult Swim content, like, and it's
For like
it's
the
like
commercials.
animations, like quirky. Yeah, it's like animations and like short films and
Uh-huh.
all creative things, and maybe we'll host some people's music videos too.
Yeah.
Heck, why not?
yeah.
Yeah, this literally just sounds like the Juniper Douglas version of Adult Swim, of like that whole.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like VH1, MTV, Adult Swim. It's Juniper Douglas TV. That's what it is. It's the TV of Juniper Douglas.
I think it's like a lot easier way to organize the content. The
Yeah.
massive amounts of content we have, and then also be able to help other people.
Not even help other people, just be with other
Just
people.
be with other people, like
Be
do
with-
art, yeah.
in with people.
Just
yeah.
like everybody's together.
Together, and we're just here. We got the platform. We got this complex streaming service because Zeke's a sorcerer. What are you, wizard, sorcerer? I'm a magician. Yeah. Whatever
I
the
don't know.
heck, where you just go poo-poo banana and vomit a website and you need to
Yeah.
figure out TV broadcasting and see.
So is this kind of like just like the natural next step for what you have envisioned for everything? It sounds like it is, even just switching from like Instagram to YouTube and Twitch, just like the ability to just have better visuals in that alone is going to be momentous. But like, is that kind of just like the natural way you're seeing Juniper Douglas head in as you're working on like scripts and I guess more like full length stuff? Because I've seen hints and like little acorns of information about that, and I'll ask about that in a little bit. But this is kind of seems like the primary focus, at least outwardly, is now shifting to like these live stream, video, music based
Right.
like creation fests. I don't really know how to quantize them.
Yeah, so this is kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole, and we can have a fun conversation about this. Don't be like too nervous about this just being me answering this, but there's this huge issue right now where it's a pandemic. The government has always been on fire, and there's whatever we all know. Artists can't do jack squibbly squat right now, and we haven't been able to for a while because of capitalism and whatever, and not being able to make money. And Instagram and Facebook are, if you haven't watched The Social Dilemma yet, it's the movie part of The Social Dilemma is really bad, but the documentary part of The Social Dilemma is necessary information. The movie part is bad. I have some kids said to me, they were like, as much as I like really care about your artistic opinion and who you are as an artist, I was sorely disappointed by The Social Dilemma. And I said, I'm not offended. I didn't make the movie. I don't care. So anyway,
That's good information.
Yeah, it's good information. Basically, Instagram and Facebook, we all know about the algorithm. We all know about like posting on the internet and reoccurring content and whatever. But basically, this giant AI bot is running these programs and these apps and like updating them every single day to succeed at capitalism. And how it does that is it programs the app to claim your attention as much as possible so that you will click on ads, so that they can throw as many ads in front of you as possible, giving you a higher probability of clicking the ads. So that's an issue, right? That's a huge moral issue.
I think it's a moral issue for artists, because then it's kind of like also why the website started, because then like artists are going to be more and more pigeonholed into just running their art like a capitalistic business on the internet, where they're like, get your email, and then they're gonna try to sell you something, and then they'll be friends with you, and
not only that, but also an abundant amount of artists are using this platform, and they're not even making any money off of it because basically the app like uses its users to create the filler content in between, and they organize it in a way that is predictable to your attention. Yeah. Does this make sense? Are you following me?
Yes. Yeah.
Am I making sense? Okay. And so basically a lot of artists are presenting work that is making Amazon a ton of money in this really weird, crazy, messed up, stupid way. So JuniperDouglas.com and Juniper Douglas TV
is a way to like bring people out of that stupid.
Yeah. Get it out into our own domain, into a really neutral space where they're not having their like attention harvested essentially. And it's a pandemic, so
it's just like I think it's really hard to find art in general. So there's no MTV, there's no radio anymore. It's
everything's through streaming, and it's all streamlined, and it's all through social, digital, whatever, and the internet is digital, and JuniperDouglas.com is still digital. What'd you say?
This is a crazy rabbit hole.
But the point is that this is why we did it, and it's how we got there, and it's our like day job, right? That's like, and then at night we're like working on our record and our show. Yeah. That's kind of like the whole. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that whole thing I have a few thoughts.
Yes,
the first talking about like the Facebook fit, the irony of us using Facebook to do this interview is unfortunately not lost. Zoom calls kind of suck because we don't pay for the premium, but I just think that's funny. We I was getting Taco Bell with my roommate the other day, and straight up we got like a YouTube ad for Taco Bell while we were in the drive-through.
Yeah.
And it was like, did it hear us talking about Taco Bell? Like, did our phones like listen to that? Did like it know like from the GPS tracking?
You Googled, somebody probably Googled Taco Bell.
Exactly, but like usually you don't see it like have that much or like that instant of like a show up. Like you're thinking about Taco Bell and then like you get Taco Bell ads on Facebook. Like that's what we're approaching.
So what's
just
Facebook?
like it's just like progressive.
The thing is, it's getting really good at predicting what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So
it's exponentially getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah, because it's an AI.
The keyword is exponential.
Like
because
exponential.
Every day it's just like 2x better.
Because it's an AI robot that is like progressing at collecting your data. And what they do is they take your data and they like shove it in a neutral source, and then they throw all this content at all of your data. They like make an AI bot out of your data, and they run that really fast, and it predicts what you're going to click on and what's going to keep you on your phone and what's going to keep you there. So considering that you were at Taco Bell, most likely, even if you guys didn't Google it or you didn't anything, let's say you just drove there, it is good enough at predicting what you want, when you want it, where you're going to be, and what you're going to do, that it's going to throw Taco Bell thing in your fucking face. And that is invasion of privacy. It's a huge moral issue.
Well, it's just like an AI bot is learning. It like knows human behavior better than like you. It's like a artificial intelligence, and it's like training us like a dog, like we train.
It's like a Pavlovian thing, or like even like the pleasure rat, where like they have like the rat has like the button to like press like the button and it'll like get food, or like even there might have even been like an instance or a study where like it just like shocks the rat's like the pleasure center of its brain, and it just hits the button like infinitely until it's like either like dies or is near death. And that's kind of like what's happening.
It is.
But with phone,
it's like training us. It's crazy.
You know that Twitter sound?
Yeah.
Where you like refresh the feed? Oh my god, it's the best noise ever. It's so obsessive.
I also think it's cool that pretty much everything, like the hours and hours of music specifically that is available through the Juniper Douglas music, it's linked through Bandcamp. But I don't know, is it publicly, like if I were to just go to the Juniper Douglas Bandcamp, like through Bandcamp itself and not through the website, would I still be able to find like all like these demos for the 3221? All this? I don't think so, but
no, you can't. You can't like search Juniper Douglas. But if you have the Bandcamp link from the website, you can then like use it.
Yes. I just think it's.
You can't find it like it's like kind of hidden.
Yeah, you have to go through the website, I think. Yeah. And I got lost in the rabbit hole, and I wanted to clarify that. But I think it's interesting that you guys are using that, or you're using that. It's like a necessity where, like during like this time of like Bandcamp Friday is such a big deal for so many bands and musicians, and like people are dropping new like demos and merch and everything as much as they can on Fridays. On like this one day a month, just because they're allowed to make a little bit of extra money then, and there's like that extra incentive for people. And you compare that to like, at least for sure, Spotify's like money distribution. It's just like the pool where most of your streams, like even if you're listening to someone who has like sub 1,000 listens, that money is going to go towards like the superstars, because like it's just like a percentage of all the money that Spotify makes. Yep. Is like that's how it's broken down. So like you can be listening to like the most like underground like industrial noise metal band that has their music on streaming, and your money is still probably going to go to like people that are like topping the Billboard Hot 100 and everything. And I think that you guys are providing a really interesting like contrast with that, even from Bandcamp Friday, like this kind of day where everyone engages in, I think, necessary and like shameless self-promotion, because they know how necessary that extra money could be, or how much it could help with them funding their art.
I don't know about you, but I think that even thinking about streams, worrying about streams, I I don't think that I haven't even consciously paying attention to streams. Have you?
No.
We're just trying to make some money. Like, we just want people to buy our shirts. Like, you know, because it's like, none of us are going to make any money off of streams. And the way that I look at it, for me, as a musician, or as like a person that hosts part of my work on musician platforms, do I just call myself a musician? What should I call it? Because I'm not a musician. I'm like right place, but I'm like a little weasel. I'm like in the music world. But that, like, there's this other thing about the whole Facebook, Instagram, whatever, about social currency that I've been enjoying talking about lately, because I think that these streamlined things, our social worlds, our professional worlds artistically, be that through Netflix, Spotify, Tidal, whatever, SoundCloud, whatever, the amount of like streams you get, or the amount of likes you get on a post, or whatever, the amount of views you get on YouTube, it totally messes with your self-esteem, and I just don't care, you know. And it's not going to make me any money. So as a person that has to survive in a capitalistic world, someone who is like generally social and communal and doesn't care, I gotta sell a t-shirt, because I can sell a t-shirt to a community that values it, or I can like spend all my time on Spotify playlists and like beg that I hit 100,000 and like don't make any cash off of it. But the fact that I got that many streams, like,
it's just like it's easier to focus on getting money for food and making direct friends with your fans versus trying to
playing bait with the big companies.
Yeah, or even like finding like collaborators among your fans and like fellow artists and creators and stuff. Because the stuff about like just paying attention to your streaming numbers, it's not, you can stare at your like monthly listener count and like manifest, but it's not going to get bigger, and you're not going to get any money, and you're just going to feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm guilty of that, and I'm like, I'm the saxophonist in the band. I don't do anything, and I'm still like feel like the side effect of that. So like I can only imagine for like people that are like, it's like their project, even like more so. That's not helpful to anybody. It's just like a arbitrary way of, I guess, like social currency. Yeah. Or
you can spend money to drive traffic there. But why would you spend money? But why would you spend money to drive traffic somewhere where you're not even going to make money?
Yeah.
It's just much easier to drive traffic to somewhere that's your place.
That makes you feel good, and that maybe the community that you're in wants to buy your sick t-shirt that you made.
Yeah, like I promoted like a single Instagram post for like Your Coffee, because I was like really proud of like this interview, and I was like, oh, let's drop like $10 to make sure people see it, like get some extra listeners, see if we can like connect with new people, and we got like 400 bots that found the post and liked it, and there was very little actual gain from it. Like I'm sure there were like a few people, but like. That's what happens when you're spending like $10 on Facebook or Instagram or whatever other social media you can like pay to promote yourself on. It's not going to really. It's kind of like a false hope.
It is.
It's like you're going to get new fans if you give us $20, and then you do it, and then it's not even really like, it's more like a randomness thing than anything else. But like you're pretty much just wasting money that you could spend on food for yourselves or something actually like creating tangible positive things in your community or in your, like your family.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So lovely.
That's the most I've talked without asking a question in an interview in a really long time. This is awesome. Kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but since we're kind of touching on streaming there, pretty much all of like the stuff that is on the website is not on streaming, but I think like a month or so ago, the double single of like Peppermint, I have it here somewhere, Turquoise and Peppermint were put on streaming, and those are like two very like much more collaborative songs. Like you had like guest artists or however you want to label it, because labels are meaningless. But why did you change that for those two songs? Why did those two songs end up on streaming versus the other now 18 songs and that'll keep on growing, like the other songs that are just available through the website or through people, like if you actually watch the live streams?
So the Made with Views, we were like, should we start releasing them on should we start releasing them on streaming? And we were like, yeah.
Well, we were like, we should ask.
Yeah, we should ask because it's all based off of votes.
Oh, yeah.
So we just asked,
and we said, which two songs do you want us to release?
And then those were the ones that people voted on.
And those were the two songs. But also, I think the other thing too is that we, I don't know, we think that it's a good way for people to, using outside sources, like as artists, we do have to use Instagram and we do have to use Facebook and we do have to use Spotify, whatever. But
you criticize capitalism, but you engage with it.
Yeah, why do you do that? You're going to hell. You're a hypocrite.
You're going to leftist jail now.
Yeah. You're going to neoliberal torture chamber. But I think that it is a good way to kind of put your little fingers out into the world, to have people stumble across it, to then...
Well, the Spotify algorithm is still powerful.
Yeah.
And if one person from Spotify ends up in your live stream and then you're talking with them and then they say, like, Fruit Cups, and then all of a sudden there's a whole song called Fruit Cups.
That's the shit. That's cool.
That's so cool. Right? And then they're like, whoa.
They're like, I made that song, because they did.
Yeah.
And so I think we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to keep asking people what songs they want released as singles, when.
Because it's easier to access for them.
That is true. I mean, it's pretty easy to, like, go through the website and then like download all 20 songs or something, because that's how I was listening, instead of like having like a Bandcamp tab open or something.
Yeah, it's just like a free download.
But it's still like an extra step. It's an extra step for people to take.
Definitely. But that's like that's the like nature of it. It's like you gotta think of going to JuniperDouglas.com as like our house, and then when you put your cursor around and you start clicking on shit, you're inside of our house, whereas like everything else outside is an invitation.
Yeah, like you used to go to like the record store to buy music, and it's kind of almost like it's still significantly easier than like finding a way to get to your nearest record store, pandemic or not. Just going to the website. But it's still like kind of harkening back to like that extra step. That's interesting. What other feedback have you gotten from people who are like on the live streams and maybe like their suggestion ended up being kind of like one of like the lyrics or kind of like the idea behind the song? Have you gotten?
People are always just like, oh shit.
Well, I think like when that happens, they just like really connect with the song. They're like, whoa, and then they're like sharing it. And
they're sharing it on their stories and whatever. And we show up on the live stream and people come on in and then like, and sometimes we'll release a song. People are like,
whoa.
I mean, like people. The thing is that generally we have the same people show up. Like people always come back. Like people are regular viewers.
Like the people that are probably going to end up listening to this are probably going to be the people who have like gone deep in the website and are probably giving us money.
Well, I think the question was more like, what is the response from people who make the songs?
But those people always end up coming back to the live stream.
Yeah, they always come back to the live streams because I think they find joy and fulfillment in voting on songs and watching them come to life in front of their eyes.
But I don't know.
I mean, that's what I think it is. I mean, I think that if I enjoyed something and kept returning to it, I hope it's not because we're putting like a horrible spell on them. I hope it's not because we're like
you've hexed all your fans.
Yeah, I hope they don't keep coming back because we've like.
I feel like they have to.
It's Juniper Douglas Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Like I feel so bad for them. They're just on a live stream alone.
No.
But that's not how it is.
This question has turned into a horrible one. I don't feel good about these answers. I apologize for this segment.
It's all good. It's all good. Walking it back a little bit, starting in when did actually the Made with You series actually like launch? When did you start making? I think it was June. Was it before that?
Oh, we started making Made with Yous in February. Yeah. How many tracks do we have?
Oh no! Oh, I misread my own question. You shifted. Okay. You shifted from Tuesdays to Sundays in June.
Oh, yeah, because we were gonna be actually in Minnesota farming. That's where we're supposed to be right now, but we're not doing it.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's where we were. We like got there, and we like Sunday was gonna be our only day off because the farmers that we were gonna work for are spiritual, and so they take Sundays off.
So that was going to be the only time we had to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, no days off. We got to do the live stream on Sundays.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, reworking the question to actually reflect what I wanted to ask.
Oh,
back in February, no, you're fine. Back in February, you actually did start the series on the Tuesdays, and then it's been ongoing. Like, I think a new song just came out last couple days. Or at least recently enough that it was a new one to add to my iTunes library. Where did that come with the idea of the website? Like when you were, to use your word, vomiting out the idea for the website, was doing live streams and like bi-monthly, like releasing songs or whatever? Like was that all kind of balled together, or where did the separate idea for the live streams come from?
Well, Zeke was like, we have to start doing live streams. And I was like, I don't want to. And then you were like, too bad.
Well, it took a long time because we tried all kinds of different quote-unquote reoccurring content because we're trying to find the line.
Yeah, the
line between being an artist in the digital age and like a influencer vlogger. Like, where is that line? And
it's non-existent, yeah.
It's so many people. It's really hard to find, and I think we're just like trying our best to like just create and like keep in that. But yeah, like it came. The live streams were like kind of in tandem with the website, just so people like keep wanting to interact with it versus just like content being there and then
instead of like having like link in bio for every new thing, it was actually creating something that people can kind of immediately access. Was the angle of kind of having that extra level of audience interaction, was that kind of baked in to that idea from the start, or was that something that maybe came a little bit later? Like whether it's having people suggest like the ideas for the voting, or even just like the people actively participating in the live stream, and how has that changed since you've been doing it for like 7 months? Like how, even if it was like recurring people.
So basically, the idea to go live and make a song with people has been the original idea. And
we first started really low key to be like, do we even like doing this?
Yeah, and we went through. What we do is we like pre-pick sounds, and we just like go through like 30 minutes before, and we just go through Ableton noises, and we're like, you like that? Okay, call that A. You like that? Okay, call that B. And then we like move on to the next section, and then we have people vote. You know, we either have like multiple choice voting, where it's like a poll system where people can vote A or B, and we count. But sometimes like it won't level out. Like sometimes we gotta be, quirky and like, 3 people said that they wanted B, and then like last minute a person who said A will come in, and it's like, we're not all in agreement. Like we gotta figure out how to compromise. And so we challenge it ourselves within our own artistic experience. I
think it's like changed over time by like people keeping more and more involved,
Yeah, and so we've started doing more open-ended questions too. So we've done things that are like, in order to figure out the tempo, I think last week it was like, what age would you wish to be right now, this very second? and someone said 33, and then we were like, okay, do you want to make the BPM 33 or 333? Because wouldn't that be fun? And so that's kind of like, we're allowed to interact with these people in real time. So, I mean, there's no like...
It's kind of a crazy thing.
It is crazy, and it's chill, and there's not really there's no rules.
It's like a weird thing, like...
Except for the timer. The timer is the only rule.
But it's just like a crazy thing to like be with your like quote unquote fans or like
audience observers
in real time making a song, and then like it's done and a video, and it's done it within an hour.
So that's another way that it's changed, right? Is we didn't used to do music videos,
and
now
we
do music videos, and it didn't used to be on Twitch and YouTube, and now it's on Twitch and YouTube, and we didn't used to have a timer or videos playing in between, and now we do, and now we have Juniper Douglas TV.
It's just like ever evolving.
Yeah. Where did the idea for the videos, like, how did that kind of, was that just because, like, the environment, that, like, in North Carolina, you mentioned, like, there's just, like a lot of art students and filmmakers nearby that you could work with, or, like, was that always something you wanted to do? Like, okay, if this goes well, we're going to do music videos, and even, like, we're going to do collaborations, because those didn't start coming until, like, the last, like, 5 or 6 songs.
Zeke was like, we gotta do videos now. And I was like, no.
We should try.
And then you were like, too bad.
I said we should try.
Yeah, and we've been enjoying them a lot. And Robin's here in town.
Robin beautiful.
So Robin did all of our music videos for Air to Introspection, and took a lot of photos for us on tour for 3221. And we'll be filming our next album and show, because it should be done sometime. And we probably won't be able to do it live. So Robin will be filming it, which would be great. And now Robin is actually our like camera person for our Instagram lives.
Robin's like a part
Robin like does our music videos. Yeah, like Robin's like a part of the band right now.
We'll pause the interview, get Robin in here. Wow.
Robin, where are you, Robin? Robin's in Old Salem.
I think he's filming a video or something.
A movie, something like that.
How did the collaborations come about? Are those just like local people you've gotten to know or connected with through the live streams, or like?
Cold Crawl is a friend that we connected with, not this past summer, that just happened, but the summer before. And we have continued.
Maybe like we're doing a movie or something.
In contact, yeah. We were like doing a movie with Jake Hospitopoulos at 101115 Hotel, and Cold Crawl. We just were in touch, and we wanted to collaborate. And I really value Yeats, and I really value his mind and his story and who he is as a person. And it's just a friend that has stayed in contact with us. And then Randy was also a friend who just stayed in contact. He's some guy from Mobile, Alabama. No, he's his Neighbors Through the Wall. He's got this touring act that he does.
We met him in
Mobile, Alabama, and he actually was like living in our house for a little while because he was living out of his truck in Colorado building pools. And then he came here during the pandemic, and he stayed here, and then we left to go to Minnesota, and he was mowing the lawn here, and he got his toes cut off, and he's now missing 2 toes, so he now no longer lives here because he had to go home because he's an amputee. Neighbors Through the Wall, check out his song, Look Me in the Eyes When You're Fucking Me. It's really good.
It's on Pornhub.
But this is his bedroom, and now we have...
This is the first Pornhub plug. We've gotten Snapchats, we've gotten like TikToks, but we've never gotten recommending someone's Pornhub music video.
You can't make this shit up.
I think it's just Neighbors Through the Wall Pornhub, and he has a music video.
Oh my god! Turn safe search on, but be careful to anybody looking this up. But oh wow! So on some of the videos, there's just got to segue from that somehow. In some like the music video descriptions, like you have references to the pop sound of the day, hyper pop, and like that PC music inspired stuff that like everybody, all the kids are listening to these days. Was like that kind of just really out there, really kind of abrasively bright and experimental like approach to making like essentially like pop song. Was that something you kind of knew you were gonna want to play with in the live streams when you were kind of picking these presets and these sounds before you do a live stream? And like, and there's also just, especially having heard 3221, there's like instrumental like stuff that sounds like house music, and I don't remember which song, but one song sounded like an Arca song, if you're familiar with like some of her work.
Oh yeah.
I guess where do you kind of take all these like these disparate influences that come, like where did you kind of I lost the thread of the question. Yeah. Yeah, I guess where do you kind of get the sonic inspiration for these songs, and was like kind of working within the hyperpop wheelhouse something you knew you were getting into when you started? And how has it changed since you've been in this for months?
Yeah,
I think it's just kind of left up to chance, but like
the live Made With You, we're using Ableton sounds, and Ableton is electronic music. Ableton is like electronic samples. But that being said,
like, you know, like
you
like some
wanted,
stuff that ends up sounding like more low key, Radiohead,
or like more like rock vibes. But I think it's also just the gear we have. Mm-hmm. We have a synthesizer, and we have a push, and we have Ableton, and
but it's also just like what we've been playing with.
Yeah, and you wanted to make pop for this next record that we're making right now, and you are making pop for this next record. You're not.
we don't really know what it is.
The record sounds very different. The record sounds very different than
Error or 3221
or
both.
Than everything that we've made.
Everything.
It sounds very different. It has a very specific sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just, I think they just are sounding like that because that's kind of what we're playing with in the record.
Okay, that makes sense.
But also, I don't know why it just like happens because there's no time to think.
Yeah.
There's like no time. It just.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like some philosophical diatribe like here's why I like hyperpop or something like that. If there was, that'd be cool. But
I think also like it's very important like to note, I think just subconsciously or consciously or whatever, that hyper pop has been paved by the queer community, and that is important to us.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I think we're both really into this idea of like future music, and like pushing, like I think with Error, things were very like, I think we were still learning to make music.
We still are learning now.
Yeah, totally. But like we were more like trying to like copy influences. Mm-hmm. But now I think we're trying to, instead of copy, it's more like push just the idea of sound. And I think that's probably just ending up coming across in the live streams, but
yeah, that's
what we're like doing in the record, so it's just like crossover.
Yeah, the overflow from each one into each other makes sense. So since you've been working on this record for at least, it sounds like at least a decent amount of time, are these Made With You live streams, in addition to kind of expanding kind of like your multimedia conglomerate, and also just like engaging with the community, has this just been a way to kind of keep yourselves creative and like kind of keep your edges kind of sharp while you're, and so because it's easy to get bogged down in something that's like is going to be a record, or like it's going to maybe be on a record one day, even if it ends up totally getting lost. Is that kind of something you intended for yourselves, really, more than anyone else with the Made For You or Made With You streams?
Yeah.
It's been really good practice.
It's been super good practice, and that is a great way to say sharpening your edges. I think that's beautiful because practice.
Even like every time we're like, whoa, this is just
every week everything sounds. Every week we do a live stream. Every new song we made. I just made a song
It'll be like there'll probably be a fluke
Ableton last
sometime.
night. Yeah,
whatever.
it's gonna crash eventually. But like it'll start being bad again eventually. But like we like progressing.
We are progressing
so quickly,
overall.
and it's just because we're doing it so much. Good job.
It's like practice.
Yeah.
It's just practice,
Yeah.
but it's practice in the public eye. So you
With humility.
So you also like, satisfy the algorithm, so your fans don't just walk away, and they're just like walk into the ether.
I mean, that is tempting. The ether is very tempting, but I'm glad there's something to anchor us here. So with this here, it sounds like you're kind of trying to create the most true kind of idea of what you want this next record to sound like, and you're maybe discovering things in the live streams that you maybe wouldn't have realized if you were just working on the music alone.
Totally tools, totally, definitely.
It's a really good like tool to put pressure on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
To make a song in 30 minutes, that's a lot of pressure, and then it's let go. Then if somebody votes to say put it on streaming, then it's on the profile, and you're like, whatever. There it is.
Mm-hmm. So
it's a tool.
Yeah. This is something that I alluded to earlier with like little crumbs and hints about the next script, the next more substantial project. You finished the first draft, is that correct? Of the next show? No?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to cry because, oh my god, I think I'm actually crying right now. This is so fucked up. I just think it's so...
If you need to take a second, just breathe. You're good.
It's so beautiful that you are asking, that you're using this vocabulary of, like, next script, because I've been trying so hard to make plays, and I've been doing it through music, and I've been trying to do it, and I've been trying to get the vocabulary clear for 6 years now, almost, and the fact that you're saying this script is, like, monumental.
Wow,
so
yeah.
I'm so emotional.
So you mentioned it earlier, where like you kind of like were writing plays and writing scripts, and Zeke was kind of working more on the music side, and that's kind of like the clearest understanding of Juniper Douglas I've heard, and of course it's coming from you two, the people making it. So, because like I was always like positively baffled, if that makes sense, about like the difference between like listening to Arid Introspection and like writing about that and listening to it as a work of music, and then seeing the live show, which was just like much more like a play, or much more like a performance art type thing that had a lot of heavy musical elements and like was song based. But like I think now that kind of clicked for me when you said that earlier, and now it's kind of just coming full circle. So
yeah. So the first draft is done. The first, like, all it is a bunch of postcards lined up in order with, like, explanations of what's happening in those moments.
Mm-hmm. We also did the same kind of thing with the album, too.
Mm-hmm. We also have the first draft of the album done, and it's the exact same thing in demo form.
Postcards of...
Yeah, it's a mess.
Okay.
It doesn't sound coherent, really. I mean, it does.
It's like a 15-minute session that's pretty all over the place.
Yeah.
But the first draft is done.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about the script and the album without giving away too much? I guess more specific information beyond what people have already gleaned hopefully gleaned by listening.
The album is going to be called Less, L-E-S, and the show is a one-person show. And it is about life. We've always kind of made like performance art, and this is a surrealist play. So like being able to kind of explain fully what it's about without giving it away, I haven't quite figured out how to do yet. But some fun effects that we're going to have is we're building a set for the first time.
We're gonna like do it. We're gonna film it in this like big warehouse.
Yeah, we'll get there. maybe at some point, but the show is going to be going to be a giant cube of light. Essentially, it's an open-faced cube that the character Les goes through this journey in, and we are using a program called Arduino, and we're building this huge thing, and basically it's going to be light paintings that kind of help like display atmosphere and also the direct setting that the character is in. But we're also playing with sound and sight as a way to extend the experience of the main character, Les. So a good example is the first act of the show is all taking place in nature, but the way that the light and the sound moves is based off of like what the heart rate of the character is at that moment, what the character is feeling, whether the character is warm or cold, and it's supposed to kind of create this atmosphere with sound and movement and emotion and light, this thing that I'm calling sensationalism.
Ooh.
And that's what we're playing with for this next show, and that's what it is. I think that's.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
I don't think so. It's just like a crazy show.
I think it's gonna be beautiful. I hope.
Us.
I want. Yeah, to
Like,
us, and that's amazing.
That's the only goal. The only goal is to make something that we're happy with, and if other people like it, that's great.
But if we're looking at it, we're like, in our minds, then we made it. We made it, baby.
Yeah. How is the album different from the show, and how is it connected?
They're written at the same time.
They're very much connected. I think we're gonna try to make them so they're the same. Because Inner Introspection was a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of followed it, but
no. The show was written post the record. The show was written to fit the record, but I must say, within my creative process, I think I've come up with a realization lately. Is that I think I have a form. You know what synesthesia is? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, where you can what is this, like see, not see colors, but like.
Yeah, no, you become of essence, or you see colors based off of certain sounds. So like someone
you can see smells and like stuff like that almost.
Yeah. I think I have a form of synesthesia where, like, anytime Zeke starts playing music, and it's only with Zeke's music or with, like, it's very recently that I've been listening to other people's songs. I think this only happened one other time where I was listening to someone else's song, and I was like, I have a vision. But, like, I think, and that's what happens. I think I have synesthesia with songs that Zeke makes, and maybe it's because like I'm in love with you, or I don't know, but I like have visions and I can't do anything about them, and they just come, and that's it. Sometimes I have visions on my own, but then when I tell you about visions, like you start seeing like lines in the room, and then you start thinking about sound. Mm-hmm. And you start wanting to piece sound together. So maybe we just have telepathy,
but that comes with just being together for so long.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because like identical twins.
Yeah, we're not related. We're not related.
But like when people are together for so long,
yeah, it's
they
like
start like thinking the same, doing the same.
Yeah, like I'm only 22. And Zeke and I have been together for 6 years in March. That's a really large chunk of my life alive. And
alive and conscious. Like actually like conscientious of yourself and your actions too.
Exactly. So, and we work together, we're best friends, we're also romantic partners, and we're together all the time and working together all the time. So our path in life has been very similar for the past 6 years, and I think the more and more we continue down this road, the more and more we're able to be,
we've been like studying, like bonding theater,
like visual art and sound together. Yeah. Yeah, or like theater or storytelling, how to like meld these two together. So they've always been created together, always.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think got a boost.
Yeah, that's just really profound, and even it doesn't matter how long it'll be till people can like listen to this and then either listen to the album or like watch the filmed version of the show or anything. It doesn't matter how long like the gap between that is, but like I don't think it really matters. I think what you're saying just has enough value just in this moment right now. Yeah.
It is. It's like I think
I
that
really hope that we can do it.
we are
live,
doing it.
live.
Yeah.
Oh, do this next show live? Yeah, no.
One day, hopefully 2021 this time, like September 2021 maybe.
Yeah, but we'll film it, and if that's how we need to show it, then I trust Robin to make it look great.
I think we'll get to perform it.
But I mean, live performance will come back eventually. It's not dead forever.
Yeah, it's not dead forever. It's easy to forget that. Kind
Yeah,
of lost in the sauce.
Yes, it is very easy to forget that.
And it's a lot easier to be like, it's gone forever, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel like, but I think it'll come back.
it will.
And when it does, I hope we get to do this show because it's...
Maybe by the time it comes back, though, we will have outgrown it, though. And that has to be fine,
That's true.
you know?
Yeah, that's a weird case I think a lot of artists are facing right now, especially if they're like working on records, like or like working on a more substantive body of work. Are they like gonna just put it out now and then just kind of take the L as far as not being able to like actually play live shows and engage with fans and community in a more direct way, or like are people holding on to their records until they actually will be able to like tour or just play shows? Like the biggest bummer is I think of the Harper's Jar record that dropped like 3 weeks into like quarantine and everybody like lost their shit, deservedly so, but we're not going to be able to see that for at least like another year probably, and
Right.
it's like, oh, Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to us. We released a song. We released a remix with Why Not.
Oh
And-
yeah, like the Why Not remixes. I forgot about those.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were like scheduled right
They were
when
scheduled.
Minneapolis was burning.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is totally fine
Which is
that
fine.
they didn't get
Yeah.
seen. They're fucking remixes. I don't care. But yeah.
Mhm.
Just as like, well, that just kind of went out there.
Yeah, it is what it is at this point. What else does the future hold for Juniper Douglas beyond just the launch of the TV and like the YouTube channel and everything, and just continuing to work
Yes.
on the show record and the live streams?
Just you wait, Wes. I'm going to blow your mind. Ready? We're starting an artist residency program. And how that looks is a long road ahead of us. But
Yeah.
we have this really amazing opportunity. We have neighbors right next door, Holland Burson and Dane Nestor. They are artists, and Dane has property in North Carolina and this huge warehouse. And Dane is this super cool guy. He's been working on all sorts of projects regarding space and like sharing space and social space.
He's like part of that Baltimore scene.
Yeah, you know, like Animal Collective or Dan Deacon.
What?
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, like he lived in like
living
in
like,
community
with that.
spaces around this scene with these people.
Like even like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's 40.
Holy
He's
shit!
40 years old.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you meant like he was like inspired by these people instead of like literally worked with them.
No, they're his
Well,
friends.
that's kind of like how our first interaction was with them.
Yeah, and then Holland is a professor at UNCSA here, and she does really cool like makeup design, mask design, prosthetics, medical stuff. Really cool people, really great friends, our closest friends here in North Carolina. But we're currently rebuilding our bus. Well, we sold our old bus and we got a new one. So
Yeah.
we're building it out on their property, and we're going to move out there in January, and they're building their house within this huge warehouse. So a small fragment of it is their house that they're going to
Yeah.
live in, and the rest of the space is going to be a place where people can come and work and do their work, and where the community can come and like rent tools out from the space, and people, the goal is to be able to have people to stay there, to like live there for like a couple months to do like focused work in the space.
Yeah.
But
It's like 100 acres.
yeah, it's like a ton of land, and he has the space
Wow.
and he's going to share it, and like it's going to be used for all sorts of things. There's fabric tables and sewing machines, so fashion designers can come. Ceramics can be made there. Metal and welding work. We're building our set there, and that's where we're filming our show, and that's actually where we're going to mix our records. So we're making like a mixing room and a sound studio. We talked about that today with Dane, actually, briefly.
It's just like a giant space.
Yeah, like an artist, like commune kind of.
Yeah, and the goal is to be able to have people like come and go, where they can like come and do focused work and leave. And I think long term, I'm really interested in figuring out how to pay people to be there.
Yeah.
So it's like you come here and you live here for a season. Let's say you're there for the spring season. You're there for 2 months. Let's say we have like 12 places where people can rest their little heads and live. And they live there, and then we pay them a stipend to do their work there, so they're actually getting paid to do the labor hours of their work while also being able to stay in this really special, really beautiful place that is out there.
And still be able to like afford food and other necessities.
Yeah, and be able to eat while they're there, so that they don't feel like, you know, oh, I'm going over to the Nest. That's the working title, the Nest. What we're going to call this space. We're not sure if that's going to stick yet or not. I just texted Dane about it. He was like, call it a working title. So that's what I'm doing. And it's like, people don't have to like work to, you know, save up enough money so that over the summer they are like going to this residency program and they have to figure out, you know, how to eat, you know. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna get paid. And the other thing that I think will be super cool is to begin, it'll probably just be within a network of people that we know. Be like, come on out, let's come on, whatever. But I think like if this succeeds, whatever, long term, it'd be a really good idea to do like a blind system or like a lottery, so that people apply to be a resident there, and whoever comes is completely non-biased. It's just like a draw.
Yeah.
It's like if your name, like, it gets picked out of the hat, then you get to come here. Like, you don't, no one is like gatekeeping.
It's not merit-based in like a very subjective way. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to get away from that. I think we all want to get away from that as much as possible.
Just give people resources.
Yeah.
Period.
Kind of sums it up for sure.
Yeah. So that's what else is in the future.
What else? That's been like the whole like last like 80 minutes of conversation is what else is coming pretty much, because there's just so much stuff.
We got TV, we got
live
show, we got a whole place for
art place for you to come and fulfill all of your artistic dreams and desires.
Yeah. Last thing I'm going to ask is, for people that have not signed up for the website, what is the easiest way for them to do that and get access to all like this whole galaxy of Juniper Douglas media?
Go to Juniper Douglas.
Go to juniperdouglas.com/TV.
Okay.
And then
get started.
And there's you can watch like the recent broadcast, and then there's all kinds of stuff you can watch.
Yeah, it's like a free trial. Try it out.
Yeah.
And then if you want to sign up,
then you can see
sign up.
There's a big button that says sign up at the top. So
yeah.
Can't miss it. All right. So people can tune into the streams. Is it bi-monthly or monthly on Sundays?
It is every 3 weeks
Every
now.
3 weeks. Okay.
It's like kind of like every month.
We do, yeah, because like we do
Roughly.
one Sunday, we do the actual live stream, and then the next Sunday we release it, and then soon there will be a third Sunday where we release the merchandise for
Okay.
it.
Ooh.
There's a goal to have like a new shirt for every live stream we do for like every single song. Like just limited though, so it's like there's only a couple of them, and like if you get them, then you get them, and if you don't, then you gotta wait next month for the new song. And so so like once a month you can join the stream. Once a month we release the stream, and you can listen to the song and watch the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
But the best way to stay in touch with us is through our emails, which is why it's good to sign up for JuniperDouglas.com, because we get your emails and we send you email notifications, reminders, and I also like give you some updates about our life and what we're doing. And it's a really good, easy way for people to stay updated and engaged with what's going on, and a good way for us to remain intimate with our observers and audience.
Yeah.
It's much easier to send somebody a message than post on Instagram.
Yeah. But the Instagram is also at Juniper Douglas, so just branch out, find all the different places where you can
also
access
just
this.
Type Juniper Douglas in Google and you can find whatever.
Hopefully your actual website comes up before like one of my my review or something, because I think that happened once and I was like, that's the exact opposite.
No, it does. We're good.
I think it's the first result now. I think we've driven enough traffic to it.
Beautiful. That's all I wanted. Yeah. All right. That's pretty much all my questions. So thank you so much, Zeke. Thank you, Yvonne, for finally 3 years in the making. Pretty much, you were like one of the first bands I ever wrote about for local stuff, and now you're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But
we're from everywhere. We're from nowhere. We live in a vehicle, so
we're from the
live in a
United
bus?
States. We're not from a state.
Loosely.
We're an American band.
We're an American band.
An all-American band. Isn't that Grand Trunk Railroad? Yeah.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.